Gillian Robertson in the blue. Amanda Loewen in the red.
Ready? Amanda, you ready? Fight!
Oh, hello. How do you do? Now that we've got that out of the way, let's try to break each other's bones. Oh, and Gillian's going to go for... Oh, and Gillian comes right to it. Like, I love that stuff. I love when one attack gets spawned into another attack. Amanda coming with a bit of a triangle. Her legs aren't in the right spot, but you see what she's going for. Gillian Robertson starting to look double leg. Amanda's starting to think guillotine. Gillian Robertson passes the legs. Perfect defense, and one of the only defenses to a guillotine off a double is what Gillian Robertson just did. She hit a double, but she hit a pass while doing it. That is the only way to stop that guillotine. Boy, she did that well. All right, Amanda seemed to have slowed her down at least for a moment. Amanda Loewen on bottom. She is in full guard. Is she sitting up here? This is a trick. Yes, she could pop her hips and reverse it. But it's a trick. She's looking for a response. Amanda Loewen is looking for a response from Gillian. And you'll see a difference, right, guys? You'll see a difference in MMA grappling versus submission pure submission grappling. You will see a difference. You will see a reward for submission as opposed to an emphasis on position. And there's been all these schools of thoughts over the years. You start with the Hoist Gracie, which is about finishing and submission. How do you conclude a fight? You make your opponent conclude it. You make your opponent say, I no longer want to be here. Okay, great. Everybody understands that. Well, Hoist came in and showed us how to do that. Then you went on to like the Frank Shamrock era. And Frank Shamrock was the first to ever say while in guard, how do I pass guard? I don't pass guard. Stay in guard and start pounding. But that was a different philosophy. So then when you start to emerge the two, and this is really the immersion, right? You're seeing a combination. You're seeing the sport of grappling, but the apparatus is very relevant. We just saw this a couple of weeks ago. You guys will recall when Stipe's getting ready to fight DC, and a big storyline on that was the size of the cage. And Stipe, who preferred to strike and prefer some footwork and movement, was one of the first to say, I don't like the size of the cage. The cage is too small for my preference. They got two size cages, and they've elected to use the small one because the building we're in, I want the big one. Well, all of a sudden that starts to become a storyline, but Stipe's making a very good point. There's something to be said for the apparatus. If you're on a flat mat and you can go out of bounds, you will see people use that as a defense. I can remember many years ago watching Pride, for example. Pride was awesome. Pride had a different apparatus, which was a ring. I saw guys in submission. They were caught. They were going to have to surrender, and instead of surrendering, would find a way to get out of the ring. If you could just scoot out of the ring, which the referee has to break, all of a sudden you don't have to beat the submission. It was a little bit of a problem in that regard. They found a solution. You had the yellow cards. You guys remember. I know the timeline too. I'm sharing with you the apparatus matters. And when you talk about the combination of the two, it's very relevant. And even Gillian Robertson is starting to use it right now. She doesn't need it. Gillian's not uncomfortable. But should she be, she can scoot Amanda forward about 4 inches, put her face into the fence, put her head into the fence, and shut down a lot of the offense. Gillian Robertson reaching behind Amanda's back and locking the arm, which, by the way, for mixed martial arts, which is her full emphasis right now.
1 minute.
Her main emphasis. It would be a great position. Amanda Loewen starting to think armbar. The problem with an armbar succeeding here is she's got a full guard. Her own legs are going to be in the way. Whenever you are in half guard from the bottom, that armbar, that arm drag rather, really starts to open up. Here again, Gillian Robertson. Notice what she's doing. Think about this in an MMA situation. You can tell why she's trained this and is so good. Look at that free hand she has. Well, imagine the weapons and tools that free hand would be doing. Gillian re-watches this. She's going to think, boy, I was in a pretty good position if I was under the unified rules, but I'm not. I'm in the EBI rules right now. All right.
10 seconds.
Short time here. Gillian coming over, starting to look for a pass. Even if she finds it, there won't be a lot of time to do something. That's about as hard as Amanda Loewen's ever been put. Boy, look at Gillian. Why is she not breathing?
Amanda 1.
What kind of shape is Gillian Robertson in? Look at her. She's not even. This is the way most athletes look when they walk into the ring from their warm-up. Gillian told her, you down on the logo, me armbar, top. All right, here we go. Notice how Gillian has one hand on the mat. That's the opposite hand that you usually see. Brent Primus did that a couple of events ago where he put the higher hand towards the head on the mat. Most athletes do the opposite. The high hand goes on the arm, the low hand goes near the legs. Amanda is able to find her way out. No submission here, so there's no amount of time that either athlete must do something in. But Gillian is not going to want to waste time here. Wait a minute, that's straightening out. That's straightening. Careful here. Good. Good. That's a tap and a submission. I've got to tell you, good.
Verbal submission armbar.
Gillian, you did everything right, and you got yourself a fantastic workout, and you came in second to the same girl that everybody comes in second to. Do not sacrifice that arm. I got to hear enough from Dana White. I don't need that phone call. I'm over here having a perfectly good day. I don't need that phone call. Gillian just got her arm hurt. That was a good match. Look at you. Why is Gillian not breathing, by the way? Who is this girl's strength and conditioning coach? Man, that guy's got to write a book. All right, Kevin Keeney. Tell us all about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner by submission due to armbar at 14 seconds in the bottom half of overtime round number 1, Amanda Loewen.
Amanda Loewen. Very arguably